Hi, my name's John Bosworth. I'm a licensed mental health counselor in private practice in St. Petersburg, Florida. I'd like to talk a little bit about how much money does a sports psychologist make. The term sports psychologist first can be a little misleading. Usually when I think of, and people in the field think of a sports psychologist, we think of somebody that's either a counseling psychologist or a clinical psychologist, sometimes an organizational psychologist, depending on what, how the capacity that they're working on, that they're working at within the organization, whether it's a baseball team or a football franchise in professional sports, if it were. But I think people have an idea that there is actually a quote, sports psychologist and training for a sports psychologist. Most sports psychologists tend to be doctoral level trained, as in clinical psychology, and then they tend to, throughout the years, specialize more in, work with athletes or sports organizations or athletic organizations. And basically a sports psychologist can work at the individual level as far as working with, say, a PGA golfer putting or either on his short game or on his drives, his full swing. So they might break apart maybe the quote job description of the PGA golfer, or they might help a basketball player work on his team, his team skills, or they might work with a hockey team in coming up with better strategies or better morale for dealing with each other if there's any kind of animosity on the team. So sports psychology it's an emerging field, seems to be growing pretty well over the last 20, 25 years, but it's not a specialization in education per se. And sports psychologists can earn anywhere from low six figures to well up probably to $300,000-$400,000 depending on who they are employed by. My name's John Bosworth, and we're discussing a little bit about how much money that a sports psychologist can make.